from the deck entirely to make room for his 4 main deck burning roots.
Yeah, and again, I think your lists are actually, you can build mono red a lot of different ways, and that's obviously evident here. This deck is much different than the deck that you piloted, but then again, sometimes you don't need haste when a lot of your guys have haste, I've learned.
So you see Donnie start off the game here with 2 red-blue duels and fend off Tyler's first play, which was a Stormkirk Noble with a Pillar of Flame. Tyler fires back with another Noble and an Unleashed Rakdos Cackler.
Well, yeah, looks like Tyler's got perfect mana here to cast all the spells. Pretty easy, I think.
You see Snapcaster Pillar of Flame take out the Stormkirk Noble. Donnie missing white mana, but otherwise a pretty well-situated hand, and has easily fended off Tyler's early pressure. You see him trade the Snapcaster Mage for the Rakdos Cackler.
Yeah, this is very impressive. Obviously, Snapcaster Mage and Pillar are just, 2 peas in a pod here against these early aggro decks.
So Donnie's sitting on an extremely powerful hand of War Leader's Helix and Dissipate and Restoration Angels, but again without white mana. As you see Tyler try to add a Burning Tree Emissary to his board before combat. We'll see if this is enough to induce a Dissipate.
Oh man, I think I hold Dissipate there because when I see 4 mountains, for some reason I'm just a paranoid control player. I feel Burning Earth is very near. I would prefer just to let him have the 2/2, especially at 20 life, and then just nail whatever the second spell is at the end of that chain there.
So you see Donnie draw a Cavern of Souls there, presumably naming Angel, which, again, this is valuable for allowing him to play Restoration Angel, but he is still short on mana to cast Helix. As you see, Tyler add Hellrider to the board and attack with both. I assume this will induce a Restoration Angel. Yep. Jump in front of the Hellrider.
It's funny to see, too. Resto is just so good against the red decks for that reason. Just the 4 toughness, and, with the Angel Cavern right there, I'm a paranoid guy again. Do you scream Resto Angel in hand right away?
I would have led with the Burning Earth that's in Tyler's hand there, because if he has Restoration Angel, you find out right away. Right. And if not, you can play your Hellrider the following turn.
Exactly. Well, Burning Earth obviously is fantastic here, but Donnie's last draw was a Dissipate, so it timed perfectly for the attempted Burning Earth, and it works out well, right? It's very good.
Donnie's still missing white mana for the spells that are in his hand.
It's another... it's a Mutavault there.
Ladies and gentlemen, many of you, when you leave tonight, will be going to
Pillar
your
of
car.
Flame.
At least one of you will find that you are not able to unlock it.
A Pillar of Flame off the top
if
for
you're
Tyler.
missing your keys, please
I
come up to the
think you
stage.
obviously jam into the Resto, right? And then Pillar?
It's a risky attack because there's so many cards that Donnie can have there that blow you out for going for it. I don't mind waiting 1 turn.
Yeah, sadly, I think Donnie drew a second Resto Angel, so this is going to have a similar effect here. It's going to be the same thing pretty much.
Yep, as you see, another Restoration Angel get played and jump in front of the Mutavault. Donnie falls to 12. Again, still waiting for a white source of mana to unleash all the goodies that are in his hand. A Helix, a Sphinx's Revelation that can take this game over.
Yeah, I don't see many lines for Tyler once that white mana is hit unless it's well down the line there. I think you main phase flashback think twice here. Because if you hit Hallowed Fountain, I've learned that I like these main phase think twice and flashback because you don't want to take 2 damage unnecessarily.
Yeah, I would.
Forget the bluff, just flash it back. Red deck's not going to carry. He's going to play a spell he draws anyway.
Let's see.
It's a rare occurrence, but when the next card is Hallowed Fountain, you really, it stings, literally.
So, Hellrider off the top for Tyler, a very powerful draw here, knocking Donnie down to 8. And there's a Glacial Fortress. Now you can see Donnie starting to take the game over, start unleashing some of his powerful white spells he's been holding there.
Do you like the no attack with Resto?
Yeah, I like holding back here because you might induce a play out of Tyler.
Right. Some kind of all-in situation here.
He's second Hellrider. There's no reason to race when your hand's this powerful.
I agree with that, yeah.
Just wait 1 more turn and then you can go from there.
I definitely agree. I would definitely not attack. I didn't even like the first attack just in case he draws Hellrider. Because I know looking at my hand, man, once I draw a white, this game is a wrap. So
just a matter of time, yeah.
Right, yeah. Oh, it's another Helix. He's holding double Helix. And it looks like another blue card. I can't see it. This is just going to be a huge life swing here. Back to Donnie.
And Tyler is flooding out here pretty badly, just 2 mounds in hand.
Oh, it's another Revelation. that's
Donnie's actually in a position to just helix him out of this game. You can just actually
Right.
just attack him.
he's just drawing cards, having a good time. A lot of times the control player will just have a good time, so to speak, when they feel like there's no losing chance, and take a long time to kill their opponent.
Might as well enjoy your time on camera.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Here, I'm just going to play until this guy decides to concede. Now he doesn't even need to helix at all because he can just, turn and burn and block and have a good time. But I think he's going to go with your plan. I think we're into helix to the face here. Let's see what this force. This is helix numero uno, maybe main phase. And he's tapping helix mana. And here we go.
Helix on the Hell Rider, pushing Donnie to a very comfortable 21 life.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the point where all the burning earths in the world won't stop this.
It appears that he's entering his discard and does.
Oh, speaking of the devil. So
A little late to the party here.
Like I said, with that burning earth, if he did what you said, if he led with that instead of the Hell Rider that turn, it would have been a really different game, I think. Because he didn't have the Dissipate at the time.
Yep.
Revelation's a lot less provocative when you're taking all the damage +3 that you're,
War Leader's Helix, a lot of cards just.
just lose their flair. Your whole deck, pretty much. This is the deck where Burning Earth really shuts it down.
See an Aetherling out of the table.
Tyler did not cast the Burning Earth. I don't know what. Maybe he's trying to draw a second one, double up or something. But here it is, a little turn after, and this is the ball game. Going to 4. Aetherling is unblockable, and we'll do the final points.
Yep.
He also has burn Resto Angel if he wants. Tyler's hanging out, just wants to see one more turn before he concedes.
Yeah, and then, like we said, once that white mana was drawn for Donnie, an avalanche of cards come out.
Right.
So, going to the sideboard here, Tyler, a mono red player, has a couple of reasonable cards to bring in for this matchup. He has 3 copies of Skullcrack. I actually don't think Skullcrack is the best card in the world in mono red for a variety of reasons, especially now that Mutable is a card, but it's still more efficient here than his Pillar of Flame, so that's a very easy substitution. He also has 2 copies of Mindsparker. Mindsparker is actually a very powerful card from M14. It's very punishing towards blue and white spell-oriented decks. And if the format was a little more Esper-oriented, I could see it being very commonplace in the sideboards I was building.
Right.
Because the most common Revelation deck in the format is blue-white-red, and because Mindsparker matches up so poorly against the red removal, I'm not a huge fan of having it in the sideboard, but I have to imagine if it's in the sideboard, it's coming in now.
Right, yeah. And the answer to all the said cards, Donnie has a few things. You have to bring a Detention Sphere for Burning Earth. You have to bring. I would even bring in this 1 Ratchet Bomb and put that thing at 4 and then just hang out. Because Donnie, watching his deck, watching blue, white, red, this is probably your better matchup. You want to play against the super fast aggro decks because your removal has life gain attached to it. You have Azorius Charm, you have Resto Angels, you have all these powerful cards that if you tango with Tyler on a 1-to-1 basis, you're going to end up winning its eventuality. Except for Burning Earth, which will destroy you, so you need to make sure you have outs for it. I was talking to Glenn last round about bringing in Negate against a creature-heavy deck, and here's my logic, and I do this against Red when I was playing Esper, is you really need to counter Burning Earth. The other spells are all show, prestidigitation, flickering around, trying to get your attention, and you're like, cancel your Essence Scatter, or cancel your Hell Rider. And you really don't need to, because literally every card in the blue, white, red deck is a removal spell for a creature. So that Negate forces you to hold it, and it has 1 card written on it, and that's Burning Earth.
Yep. No, and this was the one matchup when I was playing in the Invitational last weekend that I was hoping to avoid playing mono red. Pretty much any other deck in the room, I was okay. Maybe the matchup's a little bit bad, but everything, is largely fine. Blue White Red Flash was a matchup that I was hoping to avoid because they have so many tools that are very cheap and varied in utility. There's not one particular angle you can attack them on because the mixture of Restoration Angel, counter spells, life gain, spot removal, blockers, the whole package makes it really hard to attack them on any one particular axis.
Exactly.
So you have everything covered.
And if you even try to overload creatures, they have 2 verdicts for you just in case. And of course, they're going to have it in their hand if you try that out. and it's going to be a real nightmare. So I definitely bring in the Ratchet Bomb, I bring the Detention Sphere, I bring in maybe 1 negate to have at least 3 answers for Burning Earth in my deck. I'll take out Dissipate because I think it's a little bit worse. It's harder to have 3 up than 2 up, especially when you're killing crit things as well. Maybe Rewind is a little bit worse too. And I board out kind of the slower counter spells.
Yeah, I actually think Donnie in this matchup can get away with having even one less copy of Sphinx's Revelation in his deck because he has so many cards that are very easy for him to take the game over. He doesn't need a big Revelations. Like Blue, White, Red often needs to kind of get over the hump because all of his cheap spells are so efficient in blunting Tyler's offense.
Exactly, and I've been crucified previously for saying I board out a Sphinx's Revelation. Having 2 in your opening hand against these aggressive decks is almost a mulligan because by the time you get to the 1, you're usually fine. And that, as a second Revelation in your hand, would be much more effective as, like you said, a 2-mana answer or a counterspell or something that can get you to the first Revelation itself.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different with some decks like Esper where you need a Revelation to kind of get over the hump at some point, but Blue, White, Red Flash can match Mono Red to the board right away. So I don't think you need to get too greedy with your expensive spells.
Yeah, with Esper, it was more about Lingering Soul, Sorin, and a lot of dirtily blocky stuff in the middle of the aisle there, and then lots of rafts, and then the 1 Revelation usually was enough to put you over the edge. Especially with 3 Snapcaster Mage, you really don't need. You'll gain enough life. You'll gain plenty of life there.
Yep. Tyler keeping 7 here. Looks like Donnie's going back to the well for 6. But yeah, this is in my opinion, a very tough matchup for Mono Red.
Right. This is the deck I would not want to play as well. Everyone has a matchup like that, and if you're a Mono Red deck or even a Red Green Super Blitz fast deck, Flash is the one you want to avoid because even their creatures are super good against you. Like the Resto Angel and Augur are just fantastic against the deck.
Some of these builds side into is a Staticaster, which can destroy certain ranges.
Right. He's got 2 of those in the board too. I don't know if he brings it in here. He might, but definitely against the Mana Dork deck with Red Green, you bring the Izzet Staticaster. Because not only do you get to Searing Spear, Helix, and then ping a Thundermaw Hellkite and kill it, you can also ping all their little Mana Dorks in the way as well.
Donnie picks up a hand with. Looks like he has 2 Plateaus and a Dissipate among his other cards. So.
Nice. Have you seen Izzet Staticaster toying with his own Boris Reckoner before? That's a fun little interaction.
No. I've seen it with Ralzeric, which is
that's nice
quite
too.
good.
Yeah. All right, here's the start that Tyler wants, and he chooses not to pair up, which means Donnie has to know there's something else coming.
Yep. Implies some drop next turn.
Oh, and the dreaded Augur, which trumps both things in play.
Let's see what his next play is here. There's a lot of pressure on him to have one of his powerful 2-drops here, either Mog Flunkies or Gorehouse Train Walker.
He definitely needs. It says go. Interesting. I'm not sure what he didn't pair for that. Let's see if that 2 damage comes back to haunt him.
Let's see what he doesn't have to. He has to worry about. Tyler has to theoretically worry about Syncopate here, but he's in the clear from Dissipate right now.
And he's getting Essence Scattered. All right, well, it looks like Donnie is at where he wants to be. He's got lands. I see a Dissipate, which he cannot cast currently. I think I see another counterspell. I see a Resto Angel, which is coming into play. And I guess Tyler just passed turn. Yep,
Tyler is again flooding out here. He has sitting on a Skull Crack, but that Augur of Bolas blunted all of his initial pressure.
Right.
And now Donnie's actually going to be playing a Steam Vents untapped and probably tagging with Restoration Angel this turn, which is awfully early in the game for that sort of thing to be happening.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Tyler right here. He did not attack with Resto, so he's playing very conservatively, which I can't fault him for. Like I said, it's pretty much, when you're at this point with an aggro deck like Mono Red, it's your game to lose as a Blue-White Flash player. We saw earlier that a little bit of loose play got someone Boris charmed to death where it could have been probably avoided. Here I like the way Donnie's playing. Just say go. Just sit back with counterspells and draw some cards and hang out for a little bit.
Some Mog Flunkies.
All right, I think we let this resolve. I see a Supreme Verdict in his hand, so as long as he has enough to... you definitely don't counterspell this.
Yeah. You want to be saving your Dissipates at this stage of the game for cards like Burning Earth, possibly additional Skull Cracks. No reason to fight over random creatures when you have so much removal in hand.
Right, absolutely. And he looks like he uses Desolate Lighthouse, which I did not see, to draw a card and discard one of the Supreme Verdicts. I think we're going to see here an attack and then a verdict, or he might wait a turn, which is not too bad. Oh, he's going to play Augur maybe. Yeah, here comes Augur.
I mean, I'm
Bolts.
happy to add another Augur if I'm in Donnie's position, because you can actually, again, start attacking with Restoration Angel.
And he did bring the Ratchet Bomb, which will go to the bottom of the deck. So we've got to seeing the Ratchet Bomb on the bottom of the deck makes you much more cautious to not allow a Burning Earth to resolve, because now you're down to one answer if it's in play.
Donnie in firm control here.
Oh, and here comes a 1. No one can block on this side of the board. Pretty humorous, actually.
Yeah. Neither an Unleashed Rider's Cackler nor a Singleton Mog Flunkies can block, so this attack is a freebie.
Right, yeah. Here comes Vicious Augur. Donnie's smiling here. I'd be pretty happy too with my hands, a fistful of counterspells and Supreme Verdict. Pretty much Tyler is going to have to keep playing creatures. He knows a verdict is imminent, but he doesn't have a choice because he can't get through that barrage of 3 and 4 toughness creatures. I was thinking about using Desolate Lighthouse, and I heard a wise man say, always use it because you'll always find a better, there's always something to discard.
Yep.
Always something to discard. All right, we got land, we have Turn and Burn, we got all kinds of stuff. And he's just, he's doing what a control player wants to do. Just sit there and hang out and say go.
Was that a Mizium Mortar?
Looks like a Mizium Mortars, which will provoke a counterspell, which he needs to do anyway. I mean, that's a good card to draw. You have to overload it here. Oh, and he says go. I do not like that. I think he's going to have to get through the barrage of counters because Donnie is never going to tap his mana. He has no need to.
He may be able to set it all up in one turn, but
I'll definitely give it a shot. I think he drew another. Is that Cackler maybe? I'm not sure.
I'm a little surprised with Donnie's unwillingness to attack with the Restoration Angel here. I feel like with turn burn, you have enough mana to both turn burn and still have a counterspell up in the same spot. And his hand's actually a little low on power. He just has his counterspells and removal. I feel like he kind of wants to get the ball rolling here. He's not completely...
I think I understand why he's doing it, but I agree. I don't think it's the best play not to. I think he really just wants the Supreme Verdict before he does anything else. So I think he's actually just going to... He's going to verdict this turn. If I bet a nickel on it here.
But he's actually kind of ahead on the board. I don't know.
Right, yeah, I agree. I mean, you can definitely grind it out, but he's going to play it super safe, super careful, and still saying go. So he really wants that verdict to just kill everything. He drew a Burning Earth here.
So he has Burning Earth and a Mizium Mortars in his hand now.
Oh, did he discard both verdicts? We just got totally discarded both verdicts.
No, I think he's just discarded one verdict and has discarded lands for the last couple of turns.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has a second verdict. He has a lot of removal in the Helix, and that's going to draw to Dissipate.
Yeah, Burning Earth. All right, well, if he doesn't have a verdict, then the point is moot here. He should definitely be attacking with the Restoration Angel and setting up Turn and Burn and whatnot. Turn and Burn is basically like a semi-verdict, too.
Donnie's just found
kill a guy.
Donnie's just found a Sphinx's Revelation, which I believe will pretty much put this game... well, I mean, if the game wasn't firmly in his hands already, it will certainly be after this.
I see, maybe it's... He was, hopefully he just drew a Skull Crack here, but I don't think he did. I think here's a 6-mana Mortars Overload, which will invoke a counterspell.
Has to be worth a counterspell, I would assume.
Yeah, so now we're out of counterspells, it looks like. So... I thought he had the other verdict, which if he did, then he wouldn't even need to counter a silly Mizium Mortar. So that might actually be a big dagger here to Donnie. But like I said, he's still in control here, unless Tyler draws extremely well.
Run for 4 induces a
yeah,
Skull Crack.
I thought he drew a Skull Crack. I thought I saw that.
So now the Helix in Donnie's hand should be enough to really push this game out of reach, assuming that there isn't some spectacular sequence of draws from Tyler.
Yeah, definitely. This is just not looking too great here. Another Helix. All right, here we go. I think, let's see if he has that verdict that we've been talking about. If not, we're going to see a lot of turn and burning. We're going to see a lot of crazy stuff happening here. All right. Yeah, this turn and burn is going to be quite bad for Tyler. Because for people that don't know, if you haven't cast turn and burn, it's when there's creatures involved, it's always a 2-for-1.
Tyler has just drawn a Mind Sparker.
Alright, I think he's going to, invoke reading.
Yeah. This is what my concern with this card is, against Blue White Red, if you look at Donnie's hand, it's 1,000 shocks.
Right. Yeah, here comes an in response Helix. Oh, so he's actually Probably not going to even turn and burn. Actually, yeah, turn and burn's even better now because then I can just burn the 3/2 and then 0/1 one of the cacklers here. Take a little damage, but who cares?
Yeah.
Oh, he's in response again into the lighthouse. Oh, another revelation. Whew.
A lot of action.
This revelation is going to be a nightmare for Tyler here.
That Mind Sparker you see him play, you know, like I've said, I think when this format rotates and maybe we see more conventional blue-white decks return as the control deck of choice,
Right.
this card might become very good, but right now I'm very suspicious of its role because I feel like it matches up so poorly against the blue-white-red deck.
Right, yeah, I mean, just when you're the aggro deck and you're paying 3 mana and they answer for 1, you're in trouble.
Another gigantic revelation here.
This is gaining, I think it's gaining 32 life or something. Might as well be. Put a little sideways 8 by Donnie's life total at this point.
And now I think we're approaching the turn maybe where one of these Augur or Bolosses is going to get in the mix too.
So, question will segue here for mono red player like yourself. Do you concede at some of these points here, or do you actually play the match to its fullest?
I concede pretty fast.
Right. I concede pretty fast too against aggro decks when they have these blitzy starts and I look at my hand, I can't win. It's more dejecting. Mono red could stick in there like he did for the 10 turns that we saw, but we know he knows.
Well, the game actually wasn't clearly out of reach until that last revelation. Right. I mean, he was probably done. If you're sitting in Tyler's seat, you're 99% sure that you're dead, but it's not 100.
Right. It could be Donnie could be holding a bunch of land, I guess.
Spot removal.
Spot removal, yeah.
It's possible Burning Earth is still a live draw for you there, as far as you know. So.
Maybe we should have a little friend cam where if you have multiple helixes, you can just show your opponent in the revelation. We can just move all their life.
So Donnie Peck moves to 7-2, keeping alive his outside shot of the Toddy berth. Tyler now X and 3 and likely playing for a top 32.
Right. Yeah.